Season 5 of The Boys is finally here, and I'm gonna be real with you. This is the most divided I've ever felt about this show because, on one hand, it's still bold, still shocking, still doing things no other series would even attempt. But on the other hand, this season has some real cracks that continue to show since season 4. Anthony Starr as Homelander is still the best part of the entire show. If anything, he somehow gets even more intense this season. There's this constant tension whenever he's on screen. You never know if he's about to smile or completely snap, and he truly has become one of the greatest villains in comics history. The pacing this season is all over the place. The first couple of episodes move fast, like really fast. Big moments happen back to back, major decisions are made quickly, and it feels like the show is rushing to get somewhere. Then the middle hits, and everything just slows down. Not in a building tension kind of way, more like certain storylines just stall. Characters spend multiple episodes circling the same conflicts without much progress, and it starts to feel repetitive. And that leads into one of the biggest issues: some arcs just don't pay off. There are plot lines that get a lot of screen time early on, setting up what feels like major consequences, and then either get resolved way too quickly or just kind of fade into the background. It makes parts of the season feel unfocused, like the writers had a lot of ideas but didn't fully commit to all of them. Butcher's storyline is a perfect example of this. There's a really strong emotional core there. He's dealing with consequences, guilt, and time running out. But the way it's paced feels uneven. Some episodes dive deep into his character, and then others barely push his arc forward at all. So instead of feeling like a steady progression, it feels stop and go. Huey also suffers a bit this season. His development is still there, but it's not as sharp as previous seasons. At times, it feels like he's reacting to the plot instead of driving it, which is a step back compared to how active he used to be. And most of the deaths that should have felt impactful just didn't for me and just felt rushed. And then there's the tone. Now, The Boys has always been over the top. That's part of its identity. But season 5 definitely pushes that even further, and not always in a good way. Some of the shock value moments feel less meaningful this time, like instead of enhancing the story, they sometimes feel like they're just there to top what the show has already done before, and when that happens, it can actually take you out of the experience instead of pulling you in. The satire is still there too, but it's a lot more direct this season. In earlier seasons, the commentary felt sharp because it was layered into the story. Here, it can feel a little heavy-handed at times, like the show is telling you exactly what it wants you to think instead of letting the story speak for itself. And that subtlety is kind of what made the earlier seasons hit harder. That said, when this season does land, it really lands. The performances are still strong across the board, the action is brutal as ever, and there are definitely moments that remind you why this show blew up in the first place. In the finale, it's big, it's chaotic, and it clearly sets up the endgame. But even there, you can feel some of those same issues. Huge moments that maybe needed just a little more build up to hit as hard as they could have. I just felt really disappointed in what they did with this show when season 3 had such an awesome run and set up a great finale, but they just couldn't find a way to build off of it in a right way. There was just so much wasted potential, especially with the Gen characters that they pretty much built up for nothing. I'd give season 5 a 7 out of 10.